Hey everybody, how are you? Lisa Miller here, Miss Manifester. Just a quick live because I have my friends' dogs. Hey Jill! Hey Jilly, Philly, I do have them. They're in front of me. They're okay. I won't be long. So here I am again with other people's dogs. I'm now staying at my friend Jilly Philly's and I'm walking her dogs. So, yep, it happens to be what I'm doing at the moment, moving houses, and that's okay. And I'm very, very grateful to be where I am. I just want to tag this into some groups. Here they come. He's so excited. Here's Archie. This is gorgeous Archie. Big ear doodle. He's gorgeous. I don't know if I'll be able to see if you're on here or not, but thank you for being on here in the future. If you are, put replay. Well, I just want to talk about judgments. You know, we're trained from young to go into judging ourselves and judging life and judging everything with a label. Whether it's, money is hard to get or, it always rains this time of year or whatever it is. That's how we are trained. And the problem is we want more and we desire greater for ourselves and our kids, our families. And we do it out of that space, out of judgment, thinking, if I judge myself enough, if I put enough goals in, if I, work really hard and, I'm not good enough at that and I try harder and I learn more, then I'll get greater joy, money, abundance, whatever it is, right? But it's a broken system because as soon as you judge something or yourself, you've dropped your brain frequency and you've dropped your capacity to see what is available for you and to see the skills and the things that you have. So as soon as we go into judgment, we can't even access that part of us that knows what to do and where to go and where to be, and that knows that we're okay and there's nothing wrong with us. We can't access it because we're in our heads judging ourselves and judging the situation. Hang on a minute. Archie! Come on, Brabs. Archie! Sorry, peeps. Archie, come here. Sorry about the yelling. Good boy. Just got other people's dogs, so I'm very aware of that. Come on. Archie, good boy. Good boy. So judgment doesn't create. Discernment doesn't create. It actually destroys our capacities. Because what we're doing is we're tapping into that part of us that is judging of ourselves and judging of everything around us, rather than tapping to a part of us that knows that everything's okay, that we are okay where we are and there's nothing wrong with us. And as soon as we start to judge ourselves and think we need to do greater and be better, then we can't access, hey hun, I have got the dogs and I can see the dogs, okay? They're just there, so I'm not going to be long, but I can see them. So as soon as we judge ourselves or judge the situation, we can't find a solution because we go into that part of our brain that thinks there's something wrong. There's something wrong with us and there's something wrong with the situation, and then we shut down our capacity to tap into an answer. Because when we just sit with something and we allow it to be what it is, we can actually tap into a part of us that knows the solution. Here they come. They're still alive, Jill. Look, here he is. Here's Archie. Hey, mate, here's Mummy. Mummy's on here. Come on, Bramble, good girl. So we're having fun out in the woods for a few minutes. So as soon as we're judging, we can't even tap into that part of us that really does know the answer. There's always a part of us when we sit still and we just be that can find the solution and that can create more abundance, whether it's joy. And when I talk about abundance, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about the abundance of joy and ease and flow and fun and bliss. And when we're in a judging place with ourselves, because normally with ourselves, it's very hard to find the solution. And we're in a loop then that's inside our brain. As soon as we go into judgment, we're in our brain. And inside our brain is all the limiting patterns that we've ever wired in since we were tiny. And you can prove this with science. So if you have a pattern around money, and then you keep judging money, and you'll just go back into that pattern. As soon as you see that there's a bill there and you don't like the bill that you've just received, you'll go back in your head and back into the traumatic patterns you have about money. But if you can sit and be with it, If you can sit and be with it and allow what is in the moment and be like, okay, I got a bill in, I got something in, an invoice in, I didn't really want to get, but I did get that in. And then you ask for something greater, because we have to be wondering and curious, otherwise we're back in our brains. And the brain is where the problem exists. So you can't really judge yourself into greater abundance of joy and ease and flow. And we think by setting a goal, and working really hard towards it, that we are going to create greater or more of something, but actually we tend to just judge ourselves even more. We go into these loops. I know with me, I had all these goals and things, and I just went into self-judging with it, and more self-judging and more guilt and shame, because the more and more I set these goals that were all about fixing me, the more I needed fixing, because I just couldn't quite get there. Now, I'm not talking about a goal of like building a house or, we have these things that we're working on, like my house. I'm talking about those ones where we're trying to improve ourselves all the time, and we're putting pressure on us or other people to change. But actually, you can't change with judgment. Nothing can change with judgment, because it just keeps us in the judging loop. It keeps us low. It keeps our frequency low, keeps our vibration low, and we can't access our own answers. But when you get out of your head and you're willing to be curious and ask for something different, come on, you doggies, where are you? You're going to hear me yelling now. I can hear and see one of them. Come on, Bramble, good girl. Archie, good boy. We'll see if they're being good a girl or boy, when I get to this end here and they come down out of the grass. I am watching them, Jill, I promise. I can hear them. I can't see them in the light. There they are. They're just up there. I could hear them, but I couldn't see them. Just proving to you, Jill, that they're okay. So as soon as you judge that you need to improve, that you need to be a better person, so be more abundantly amazing, you're in your head. And inside our head is all the patterns where we're not amazing. So we just keep actually activating more of those low patterns. Oh, cool. You're at the heads. Oh, cool. You having dinner already? Or are you having lunch? Awesome, cows. Yeah, so I'm not actually on the beach right now. I'm just in a reserve, cows. But as soon as you are judging that you aren't good enough or something isn't good enough, we go back in our brain where those patterns come from. In the first place, they come from our brain. Our brain shows us we're not good enough with the things that show up. It shows us that life is hard with the things that show up. And then we go, oh, it is hard. And then we just keep proving it again to ourselves, because guess what? More of the hard stuff shows up. More of the lack of abundance in whatever area will show up. And by judging, we just keep going back into what I call the deja vu loop. And it goes round and round, and you're banging your head against the wall thinking, how can I fix this? But by trying to fix it, we're in our heads most of the time, because we're in the old thinking. And Einstein said, you cannot change something with the thinking that created it in the first place. So you can't use the same thinking to fix the thing that was created from that thinking. It's insanity. And that's what we've been trained to do, to go in our heads and try and find something different, when all that is, there's nothing different. It's just the same thinking. So what is my tip for this? Is to give yourself some space and time to just sit and be when something comes up, without going straight into the judgment of it. Just allow it to be and sit with it and be like, oh, okay, that's happened. That's interesting that that's happened. And then you need to ask for something greater. Because when you ask for something greater, you're accessing a part of you that knows the answer. There's a deep part of you, your inner wisdom, that knows what you need to do. It's just you've been in your head, my friend. So you could just ask, how does it get better than this? Or what else is possible? And just bring that gentle presence to it. And then walk away. Walk away and carry on with your day. And no doubt you're going to have an awareness, or something's going to show up and you'll go, oh, I know what to do. oh, I know my next step. This is what we need to do here. It's not an answer completely, but it's my next step. And we don't need to know the answer straight away, but sometimes we just need to know the next step to that thing being solved. But our heads can't do it unless you've rewired your brain to be in a space of allowance and curiosity. Your head will just keep you in that deja vu loop, and it goes round and round. So we cannot judge ourselves into greater abundance of joy, love, respect, whatever it is, compassion, because it will just take us, and what it does, it triggers. Any judgment triggers an old pattern you have. So as soon as you say money is hard, you're triggering all the old trauma and patterns you have around money, and then they just show up, and then they create your filtering system, and then your brain goes, oh look, got that bill, well that's a pain. Then we judge it, oh that's not good and that's painful, how am I going to get that money? And then again we trigger that part of the brain again, so it just goes round and round in a deja vu loop. And if you'd like a copy of that picture that might explain it better, just DM me. I'll put underneath replay copy, and I'll send you a copy of the picture that explains it really, really well. And what I've done is I've activated myself in what I call a magical manifestation loop. So I stay out of my head 90% of the day, and I'm in this other loop. So I celebrate what I see. Most of the time I am not perfect. I observe it and just go, okay, that's what's happened. And try to not to label. That's not always easy. But instead of activating old patterns, I activate gratitude and celebration. And then what happens? We go, into a higher frequency in our brain, and then we're more likely to create things that we can be grateful for. And this week, huge gratitude for something that showed up for my son, which I know is going to be life-changing. And we asked a couple of questions the other night together. I wonder what sparks joy for me, and I wonder what my next steps are. And 2 days later, something huge showed up, massive, and it's going to change his life. And I'm so grateful for what it is and the thing that it is and the person that's created this for my son as well. And I know it's life-changing. He seems like a different person in 3 or 4 days after the news. And how does it get better than that, eh? So just by asking for a different possibility, like what does bring joy for me? I wonder what my next steps are and how does it get better? That thing showed up. Now, of course, it took me longer than 10 minutes to shift my brain. I spent years on it, years, but of course anyone who comes in with me, because I've done all the hard work, and comes into one of my short programs like 3 weeks or my longer 12 weeks or a one-to-one, it's fast. It's way faster because I've done all the work so that you can get out of your head fast and you can get into this other loop fast where you're creating your reality with the laws of your body and brain and universe rather than against them. Because judgment goes against who we truly are, our true natures. Judgment goes against how our bodies work. As soon as we judge our bodies, we drop their frequency, we cause dis-ease. And judgment, in the long run, creates more judgment. Just creates more things to judge. So yeah, reach out if you want a copy of these things so I can show you what I mean. And the dogs are still alive, Jilly. Lovely dogs of hers, Jilly Philly. And yeah, I hope you got a sense of why judgment doesn't work. So my friends, stop judging yourself for 5 minutes. If you stop judging you and your life for 5 minutes, something will change. Something subtle, something tiny, but it will prove to you that it doesn't work. When you go back into that celebration loop, you will bring something new up that wasn't available before, and it will feel magical because that didn't happen before. And you'll be like, wow, I just created something magical, miraculous, because you're not in your head. And the answer and solution can just show, like it did for my son this week. And it's huge. Anyone who knows him and me in the situation, it's a huge solution. Doesn't mean it's fixing or solving him, but it's a real step forward in what he's wishing to create in his life. So that was out of us just sitting and being open and honest about where he was and where I was. And we asked 2 or 3 questions and let it go. And it showed up. The answer showed itself. And that's really what can happen when we just tap into some allowance for where we are, some gratitude for where we are and what we've created, and we get out of the judgment. So How does it get better than this? What else is possible? If you only ask those two things, it would make a shift, I promise you. Start asking just inside your head. Don't answer, because what you're doing is you're asking for your inner wisdom to show you. You're asking for that connection between you and your body and what people call the universe, or scientists call the quantum field. It's a real thing. We are energy first. When we shift our energy, our lives shift. So take care, everybody. I can't see any questions. Cool. Stace is on here, Kelly, Pauline, Brenda. Hey, how are you, my lovely Pukakohe friend? And Jilly Philly. Cool. The dogs are still alive, my friend. See? Still alive. In one piece. I'm in one piece. We'll see you later. Hey, thanks for being on here. Thanks for listening. And reach out if you got any questions about that. Reach out if you want to know how to create magic and miracles too. Cool. Love you, girls. Bye.